Hello, hello. So glad to be here with you guys. If you don't know me, my name is Jake. I am a hypnotherapist. I am a quantum guide. I use hypnosis in my practice to help my clients explore not only past lives, but also their connection with their higher self. And before I get into everything that's going on today for today's show, I should probably address what is going on with my hat and what is going on with this leaf. So I want you guys to guess, what do you think I am? Did you guess? Did you guys get it? I'm a leaf blower. Get it? Blowing a leaf blower. I don't know about you guys, but that was one of the costumes that my brothers and I kind of cycled through. I think each of us were a leaf blower at least once or twice through our kind of teen years. That was one of those costumes that was really easy to make and also like kind of clever and punny, right? It was funny. It got maybe a painful chuckle out of some people, but it was a fun one. And I thought starting out the show in costume would be appropriate as it is October. It is spooky season. We are coming up fast on Halloween, which is wild. And this month has been all about past lives. And if you saw my short from a couple weeks ago, maybe that was just last week. Oh my gosh, time is flying, guys. But my short was all about how Halloween costumes, those things that we dressed up as kids, can sometimes be clues to the past lives that we had, especially if it's like a reoccurring costume. My husband Corbin said he was an alien multiple years in a row, and it's really fun because we actually uncovered a past life as an alien in one of the workshops that he did with me. So that was pretty fun. Sorry, my hair's a little crazy now with my hat on. So anyway, I thought that would be a fun way to start, get a little intrigue, keep you guys guessing, and I don't know. I There are parts of like childhood, like dressing up, that like whimsy, that like fun element that I don't think we do enough as adults. We don't have enough of that whimsy and that fun, and I think embracing our inner child in that way is good. So anyway, hello, welcome to the show. I am pre-recording this in case you're in the live chat and you're like, why is he not answering me? Why is he not tossing them up? I did have to pre-record this. I'm actually recording a full session while this is premiering. Depending on timing, I might make it into the chat, but if not, please put your comments in the chat, put your comments down below, especially if you have questions around the topic today. And what is that topic? We are uncovering our own past lives. So I have some tips for you in how to uncover your own past lives. And this does tie into my workshop coming up on this coming Saturday. And I definitely recommend these tips in the workshop because there's something about being guided and being sort of having that facilitation to the experience. But I also have quite a bit today that you can practice on your own. So some tips that you can practice on your own to uncover your own past lives. And stay tuned as well, because I'll be sharing some questions that you can ask yourself, that you can pose, that can help you to start to uncover maybe some of those past life connections that you have. All right, before I jump into that though, I want to share with you guys my website, of course. And if you've watched my channel before, you know I'm a hypnotist, hypnotherapist. You can find out more about my practice on my site. And most importantly, you can find the bookings here. So if you click into the bookings, it'll bring you over to my bookings page, and you can see all of my options here. Most importantly for this moment is the past lives workshop. So I'm going to be sharing today what you can expect from that workshop, but also what to prepare and sort of think about and how to lay the groundwork to have a successful experience. You don't need to have any experience with past lives, with hypnosis, or even with meditation or anything like that. You can come as a clean slate as long as you are open and curious and interested in exploring the unknown. So stay tuned for more about that workshop, but I do encourage you to grab your ticket now. I'm so excited for this. It's coming up on the 25th. So if you click in here, You can see that this is scheduled for October 25th. That'd be 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern. And if you are not able to make it live, no worries. I will send the recording out as well, so you can listen back and do the regression meditation on your own time when you have the space for it. So don't hesitate, grab your ticket. It's going to be a great time. And especially for those of you who are beginners who have not done regression or hypnosis before, this is a great way to test out the waters, get a taste for the experience. It's not the same experience as the one-on-one, but it is as close as you can get. And it's really fun to be in that group energy, to be able to share with each other, to be able to hear what other people's experiences are. Um, and yeah, it's a really great time. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing these workshops with folks. There's something about bringing people together and exploring like this that I was just talking about like the whimsy and the inner child stuff. Like it's just really fun. And so I'm going to share more about what's fun about hypnosis and past life regression as well, because sometimes it gets a bad rap. Sometimes people only focus on the tough stuff or the heavy emotions or the trauma of past lives, and certainly there is a place for that, but that's not all. That's not all. So what else? I do also want to call your guys' attention to, actually, let me go back here, to the 10% off that I'm doing. So it is the 21st of October today. So that means you have 10 more days, only 10 more days to take advantage of this 10% off on my higher guidance hypnosis session, quantum healing hypnosis technique session, as well as just strict past life regression session as well. And so if you are interested, if you are feeling that call to delve into your past lives, if you are even just curious and looking for a new experience, I would love, love, love to guide you through a past life regression experience. I'd love to help you connect with your higher self as well, if QHHT or higher guidance is calling to you. So if you've been on the fence about a one-on-one session, or if you are just finding me and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a great deal, I want that, take advantage of it. Sign up for that session as long as you book within the month of October, that is, before the 31st, or I should say before the 1st. I will have it through October. You will get that 10% off. So you can book this for November. You don't need to book it for this month. You can book it further out, but I definitely encourage you to take advantage of that 10% off. It is a good deal and it won't last forever. So 10 days left. That is your warning. All right. So today, well, I mean, I guess before I dive into today, which I guess this is kind of diving into today because workshop is top of mind and is the sort of inspiration for today's show. But it is October, like I said, it is spooky season, and I don't know about you, but I oftentimes think of past lives, past characters. If we even think about like costumes for Halloween, oftentimes these are historical characters or characters from the past, and so it just felt like such a natural theme to tie in past lives with this month. And beyond that, there's kind of the fun side of it, but I also have had so many sessions lately where the client's higher selves are encouraging them to step into new ways of being, and specifically in letting go of fear. They're being called to release and let go of what's no longer serving them. And so it is definitely like the moment for letting go and releasing. And those are key words when it comes to past lives and past life regression. Things that are in the past that are no longer serving us, that maybe were then and not now. Things like patterns in relationships, hang-ups and hurts in self-image or in the ways that we show up in the world. Oftentimes we can think of witch wounds around this time of year, and that idea of persecution or of being shunned or punished for the ways that you show up with your gifts and the ways that you see the world and you interpret the world. And witch wounds are specifically past lives as witches, where we have had those experiences that have stuck with us and can affect us in this current lifetime. So There's a lot of different reasons why I think it's really timely right now to dive into past lives. And if you're feeling any of these things, if you're feeling that excitement for the season and you want to lean into that, come to my past lives workshop. If you are feeling this desire to like let go of something, and maybe it is fear, and fear can show up in a lot of different ways in our lives, right? But if you're feeling any of this, I encourage you come to the workshop. It is going to be a wonderful experience for doing this sort of work, and it's always beautiful to be able to get together with like-minded folks and explore. So, all right, I think I want to start today with a little bit of, excuse me, a little bit of what is the workshop? What can you expect from it? And I just want to spend a little bit of time here. If you guys have any specific questions, please let me know. But all in all, this workshop is designed to help guide you through the power of hypnosis into a trance state. And so I use my voice, I use visualization, and a lot of people describe it feeling like a guided meditation. But I use my voice, I use visualization to guide you into a relaxed and focused state, which we call that trance state. And trance is a loaded word at times. Sometimes people think of trance state and they think of the movies. They think of brainwashing or mind control. Uh, I'm here to remind you that trance is a very natural state of mind. So when we're working with these trance states, we are working with the natural brainwave states of your mind. And there's definitely varying opinions about the different levels, and I could spend a long time talking about kind of the ins and outs of this, and certainly you'll get a little bit more of this when you come to the workshop. But putting you into trance, when I use hypnosis to put you into that state, this is essentially guiding you into that natural state of trance, which you slip in and out of each day. Common ways that we experience trance are when we're watching TV, or maybe you're on your phone and you're very focused, you're zeroed in on what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, what you're watching, and maybe you don't even hear that person asking you a question. They have to repeat themselves, and then you're like, oh yeah, you're asking me a question. It's that sort of checking out of your immediate surroundings and being so focused and so lasered in on one thing. Driving is another example of that natural trance state, when you slip into that trance and you end up at your destination and you don't remember getting there. So I like to talk about this because it is something that everyone can experience. You don't have to have any meditation experience. You don't have to have done hypnosis before. You don't need to be able to like attain some Zen state. You and anyone watching this video, you can access that trance state. And it's even easier to do when you have a guide like me who is trained and proficient at guiding you into that state. And so with the workshop, that is how we access these past life memories. We put you into that trance state, and I ask questions that help your subconscious to provide you with that information, that past life experience. And so the first portion of the workshop is a little bit like this. We'll be talking about some of those tips and tricks. I'll be sharing a little bit more in depth what to expect and how to get the most out of the experience. We'll be doing a exercise that helps you to understand more of what it means to visualize, what it means to tap into this information, these memories that are from your past lives, and helping you to understand more of how you work, because hypnosis is a very individual experience. And when you're experiencing regression like this, when you're exploring your past life, it's going to be unique to you. And so my job is to help you to understand what to look for and what to be aware of and how to be open to that. So I wanted to have everyone, if you would, of course, if you're driving, you're in the middle of something, that's fine. But if you are able to, close your eyes with me, because I want to guide you through like a little example of how this works. So close your eyes, and if you can't close your eyes, that's okay. Just follow along and do your best to follow what I'm saying. But if you close your eyes and pretend that we're having a conversation and I ask you, hey, describe your house to me. Describe your home, describe your apartment, describe your room, whatever feels like home to you, whatever is that place, excuse me, that place that you go back to, your apartment, your house, whatever it is. Describe that to me. So if I were to follow my own instructions, I'd say, oh, well, walking up to the house, it is on right on the edge of the sidewalk. We've got new gray siding that is grayish blue, and it's really pretty. And um, the front is a like windowed in porch, and as you walk through the front door, there's like nice natural wood. There's carpeting on the floor of the porch. We've got a couch. We've got a cat tree out there, and a big wooden door that opens into the house. I'm describing my house, and as I am seeing in my mind's eye what that looks like. And so for you, as you are describing your house theoretically to me, you are visualizing that house. That is how that works. When we do that sort of recall, when we describe something, it would be the same if I asked you to describe, I don't know, your childhood best friend, or your boyfriend from college, or something like that. You'd be conjuring up that image in your mind's eye of that person, that place. And so visualization is not hard. It is something that oftentimes our expectations or our preconceived notions around it stop us from receiving the actual visualizations. We oftentimes expect more of what we see with our physical eyes, which is like that 3D movie. And certainly some people experience it that way. But I like to do that little exercise because it helps you to understand how visualization works. And the thing about it too, as I'm describing my house, I might also describe, oh, and when you walk through the front door, this is a house built in 1908. So, your feet are creaking on the wooden floor. There's just like a nice sturdiness, a quiet to the house because it is old, and nice tall ceilings. And so like you can bring in some of those other senses as well. And so I don't know. I like to do that little exercise. I like to guide people through that because it helps people to see that everyone can visualize. And the thing about it too is maybe you say, oh, well, I wasn't seeing anything. I just know. That's a super valid way to get it too. You might not have, like I said, the visuals in the way that you think or that you expect them to show up, but you have that knowing of what you're describing. And so we'll get more into that at the actual workshop, but there are different ways that the information flows to us. And so I like to talk about that because it helps people to open their minds to what the experience can be. All in all, the act of accessing past life memories, whether you're doing this on your own or if you are doing this in the workshop setting, this is accessing the right side of the brain. And if you study psychology, or if you are in certain circles, I feel like most people learn a little bit about this at some point during their education journey. But we have our left side of the brain, we have our right side of the brain. The left side is that analytical, that critical, that language is on the left side, like that very scientific side of the brain, if you will. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the right side is more of the images, the symbols, it's the creative, imaginative side. This is the side where artists tap into when you're daydreaming, right side of the brain. When you're dreaming, right side of the brain. And it is a little more nuanced than that, of course, as everything is, but that's a nice, simple way of understanding it. So when we're tapping into past lives, when we're delving into past life regression, the right side of the brain is what we're looking to activate and work with. And so with that, one of the tips that I suggest for accessing past life memories, and this is beside the workshop, is getting creative. Uh, you know, Sitting there and like getting really critical and analytical about, well, I don't know, I had like an analogy. It was like, you're sitting there and you're like, well, I always wanted to visit France when I was young, so I must have had a French past life. And sure, that might well be true. And I have a book and some questions that I'm going to share with you guys later on some things you can pose to yourself to start getting the ball rolling here. But I don't know, there's something about getting creative and how that helps you to unlock that side of the brain. And so maybe it's doodling, maybe it's painting, maybe it's making stuff in the kitchen, or getting creative in there. Maybe it is dance. Uh, you know, there's been many, many groups of people who have used dance to obtain a trance state. And so maybe dance can help you to get out of um, get out of your head and into your heart and be able to let that right side, that creative flow go. But imagination as well. This could be something where you start out just creative writing, and that can help you to start to unlock some of that stuff. Um, but whether you're exploring on your own with the questions that I provide today, or in meditation, or if you come to the workshop and you are being guided through that, uh, the best advice that I have for you is just to relax and to not analyze, to not get critical about it. You can do that afterwards. You can analyze, get critical, tear it apart after the experience, whether that be after the workshop or after you meditate. But I encourage you to stay out of that, stay curious, um, stay open, and the more that you can allow your imagination to flow, the better. And I know that that is something that is easy to say and harder to do, especially in our current world, in our current programming. But it's definitely something that I think is worth practicing, especially if you're interested in your past lives, if you're interested in uncovering your own past lives. But above all, like absolute top advice that I have for you is relaxation and trust. So it's kind of a two-parter there. Whether this is you trying to access your memories or your past lives on your own, or you're coming to the workshop and you are being guided to that, being in a relaxed state is going to help. And so if you're setting out to meditate on this and see if you can get your own information about your past lives, maybe don't do it after that stressful work meeting. Maybe doing it first thing in the morning, right as you wake up, when you're still like relaxed and sort of in that sleepy zen state. Or maybe you do it at the end of the night when you've done everything, all of your responsibilities that you need, and now you've been able to unwind and you're ready to go. So being strategic with picking when, which is part of the reason that I planned this workshop for a Saturday morning. That is Saturday morning in the US. Of course, if you're other parts of the world, it might be a different time of day, but hopefully Saturday is a good day, or even Sunday if you're on the other side of the land. Um, I wanted it to be a good moment for you guys to be able to be in a good place, to be able to relax. But the other piece of that is trust, and I think that this is one of those things that most of us could use a little bit more of, and I mean trust in ourselves, trusting the information that comes up for us. I like to talk about it in the context of like taking the pop of information. So if you read cards, or if you've done any sort of tarot in your life, or oracle cards, you are probably familiar with that idea of taking that first pop of information, looking at the card and taking what comes to you right away, because that is that subconscious message that is coming from a different place than our left side critical mind. And so when you're looking to uncover your past lives, you got to trust what's coming up for you. And that's not like blindly trusting everything, but it is in that experience trusting what's coming up, trusting the information, trusting that you set the intentions, and that whatever's coming up, there is a reason. But this is also why I think that that group workshop setting is such a great place to start if you've never done this work before, or if you are someone who struggles to trust yourself, because then you have not only me as the guide helping to facilitate that experience, helping guide you into that trance state, but you also have the support of the group. Whether you choose to share or not, you have that support of other people who are right there with you, who are looking to explore and understand themselves more, just as you are. And so it's just a great vibe, it's a great energy to do that sort of a work. So especially if you struggle to trust yourself, I encourage you come to the workshop, or book a one-on-one with me. I'd be happy to help guide you through that. It really does help to have someone else as support. So really, like, I think that past lives are such a fun way to explore and such a fun avenue for understanding ourselves better. And I say fun because I really like, I want to emphasize that it's not all trauma. It's not all like dark gloom and doom. It's not all like, horrible deaths and stuff like that. Like, past lives can be beautiful experiences. The amount of past lives that I've explored with clients where their lives full of family and love and magical experiences and connection to the earth, connection to others. Like, there's so much on all sides when it comes to past lives, and what you need, what is best for you, what is most appropriate for you at this time is what will come up. And so trusting that what comes up for you is meant for you in this moment, um, is important. Anyway, what's fun about it? I think of past lives kind of in a similar vein as like personality quizzes, like the Myers-Briggs, or what are some other ones? Strength finders. Do you guys ever do strength finders? Um, or even like astrology, understanding your birth chart, or understanding your astrology and how that affects your life. These are different ways of understanding ourselves more, of delving more into what makes us tick and who are we and how are we showing up in this world. And so I think that exploring past lives is fun, like personality quizzes, like astrology, but I think it's even cooler because this is beyond this lifetime. Like, uh you can get a glimpse into those experiences of your soul through time, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty wild. I don't know about you guys, but the time travel element to past life regression and future life progression as well, but the time element of my work is so cool, and being able to explore like this, like, I want to share it with more and more people. And that's why I love these workshops, because it allows more people who maybe don't have the finances, or it's not the right time, or they aren't sure about it yet. It allows you to have an in. It allows you to dip your toes into the world of regression, of hypnosis, and yeah. So things that make it fun, though, there's always a surprise to be found. I am always intrigued to hear after the workshop what's come up for people. And like I shared, Corbin, my husband, who you probably know from this channel, he's an astrologer. We do shows together for the moons. Anyway, he's done plenty of my workshops, obviously. And he had one experience where he was shown a lifetime as an ET, as a non-human being. And it was totally a surprise to him. It was a surprise to me. You never know what's going to come up with past lives. And yet there was clear through lines from that lifetime to this one. And these themes that he saw in that lifetime that directly tied to what was going on in his lifetime now. And that's the beautiful thing. Even when it's a surprise, even when you're like, what? This is wacky. What in the hell? Where did this come from? Like, I'm a reptilian alien. What is that? There's a connection. There's a reason that that's being brought up. And, if you're like, oh my God, I don't want to be an alien, don't worry. Probably won't come up for you. the one of the things that I've learned through this work is that you're never given more than you can handle ever. That is like a rule and a law in my opinion, from my experience, and that's not just my experience. That's other hypnotists' experiences as well. But anyway, um, other fun things, uh, you know, maybe you could just really use a nap and would like to really relax. Well, don't worry, you can come to my workshop and you can just take a nap. I actually did. I had in one workshop, I had two people fall asleep, and it was such a funny experience because both of them woke up by the time that we were like finishing, like the debrief at the end, like chatting. But both of them fell asleep, and they and in their defense, they had both worked really early that morning, and so they were both tired. But it was funny because even though they fell asleep, even though they got like a nap in, they still had memories of what visuals and what past life experiences were brought up for them before they fell asleep. And so it's just at some point they drifted off there, but they still got vivid images and vivid memories before that point. But that story is always funny to me. I giggle about it often because like I said, this trance state is very natural, and as you as you go deeper and deeper into trance, that is at a certain point you reach that sleep state. There's lighter states of trance, there's deeper states of trance, and then there's like the sleep state, which is like that deepest state of trance where your conscious mind is totally unaware and your body's in that resting mode. And so in a group setting, sometimes people do dip a little bit lower than the plan, but again, people always get what they need, and I firmly believe that those folks needed a little bit of a nap. Anyway, other fun aspects of past lives. I think one of the coolest things about past lives is when you find yourself in like a recognizable time period or a recognizable period of history. And of course, written history is not necessarily the ways that. Okay, sorry guys. I had a cat dragging a toy across the ground and it distracted me. I thought, anyway, back to it. So, recognizable periods of time in history. So, I had one past life regression where the woman regressed to what I think was maybe Pompeii, and certainly could have been a different volcanic eruption. But this was during a one-on-one session. But she was shown a lifetime where she was ultimately killed in a volcano eruption. I've also had I had one past life where my client was shown a Viking lifetime, and that was really cool. And the visuals that they got, the story that was told, it was really fun to explore. But it could be a recognizable period like the Middle Ages or ancient Egypt. I mean, these are definitely moments in time that many of us feel drawn to, and so oftentimes that is a signal of past lives. Um, of course, past lives, the past, it's fascinating, it's interesting, but as I always say, it really matters how it connects to your present, to your current lifetime. And so understanding those connections to your current lifetime can be fun to explore, can be fun to understand and unpack. Sometimes it's like a puzzle or a riddle you're where you're like connecting the dots between that lifetime and this and those scenarios and experiences and lessons and this lifetime and the experiences and lessons that you're going through here. There's always a reason for past lives coming up. There's always a reason for whatever it is that you're being shown. And so I like to emphasize that point because there is always a reason. You might not always understand at a conscious level what's going on, but it will always be revealed to you in time. I've had sessions where the past life experience doesn't make perfect sense on the surface, or like, I'm trying to consciously put together the pieces and understand, but then their higher self comes in and shares what really was the reason there. And um, it's profound to get that information, to understand that connection, because then it can help you to live a better life now in the here moment. It can help you to work through problems or challenges that you're facing, or to understand the situations you find yourself in at a deeper level. Like uh there's so much to be gained by exploring past lives. And if you haven't started doing that, I encourage you to do it. um there's a lot of value to be found in understanding and integrating these pieces of us, these parts of us. So ultimately, if you're exploring your past lives on your own, you can do this through meditation, um, setting that intention and asking to be shown your past life experiences, to be shown a past life that has importance or relevancy to you, setting those intentions before you go into meditation and seeing what comes up for you. Uh, I know a lot of people who love to work with their dreams, and so maybe dream work is something that you um, feel drawn to, that you appreciate, or something that you work with. So um, just asking that those same questions before you go to sleep at night, as you're lying in bed, as you're winding down, as you're falling asleep, saying, "Hey, show me some past lives. I want to understand what's going on," and setting that intention, and then being curious and seeing what comes up for you. I definitely encourage, like, keep a journal or do voice memo notes to yourself, or record this in some way, because similar to dreams, these sorts of memories can be fleeting. They can drift off or float away or fade as time passes. And so definitely encourage you to journal and or record yourself talking about this, just making record of it, so that you can look back on that, or it helps you to retain that information. Um, there's definitely other methods, and I've been actually reading this book. It's How to Uncover Your Past Lives. This is a fun book by this guy Ted Andrews, and he talks about a lot of different ways, including self hypnosis, including dowsing. There's like a lot in this book that can help you on a personal level to explore your past lives without going to someone else, or going to a regressionist, or doing a session with me. So if it's something where you're like, I want to do this work on my own first, or I want to explore a little bit on my own, pick up this book, or just do a Google search, or honestly, I mean, like ChatGPT, ask them some common ways to explore this on your own. There's certainly many recordings on YouTube of regressions, that you can follow along and do like your own guided regression. Um, I've got my meditations on my YouTube page, so you can check those out. But I definitely encourage you come to the workshop, because and I'm going to pull up those details once more. Um, Actually, let me find my graphic, because I want to show you guys my graphic, because it's fun. And um, oh yeah, I forgot that I have it saved in here, don't I? Don't I? Hmm, maybe not. That's fine. I can pull it up though. All right. Thanks for your patience, guys. Whoop. There we go. So my past lives workshop coming up on Saturday, October 25th, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. And I am offering 10% off this workshop. It is live on Zoom, and so you will get that Zoom link once you buy your ticket. It is $29.70. That's the 10% off. Normally it's $33 for the workshop. And I definitely encourage you guys, come join me, join the group. It's going to be a good time. We will have some laughs. We will have some maybe some tears. Oftentimes emotions can come through with past life work, and it's beautiful to be able to uh, work through these things, to understand, to grow, to expand together in that group setting. It's really beautiful energy. So if you are interested, if anything I've said resonates with you, I encourage you, grab your ticket, come to the workshop. It's going to be great. But you don't have to wait for the workshop to start doing this work. So I wanted to share some of these questions from this book. This guy, Ted, he had some of these questions that I think are really helpful for posing to yourself and getting the sort of like greasing the wheels or like getting the ball rolling, starting to open that door to your past life experiences so that you can uh, sort of start to unlock that. I mean, this is something where, again, you have to be open to receive on some level. Certainly, there is sometimes where our higher selves kind of tell us how it is, or help kind of push us off that ledge. But there is we have free will as humans, and so we are willing participants in this. Anyway, getting off on a tangent here, but questions that you can pose. So these are questions that you can meditate on if you want, or you can just jot these down and just think about them. Think if there's anything that comes up for you. And like I said, taking that pop, you don't feel like you need to like sit there and ruminate for hours on this. This is about taking that pop of information. So, first question: are there places you've always dreamt of visiting? For me, Australia is one of those, and at first I was like, oh, well, maybe past lives there, sure. But I had a future life progression experience where in one of my future lifetimes, I'm living in Australia on the beach, actually. And it was such a beautiful lifetime. Really cool to be able to tap into that and explore. And when I saw that connection, I was like, oh my God, of course. It makes so much sense that I've wanted to live there or visit there for so long. I mean, I almost went to college in Australia, like almost like up and went to a foreign university. I didn't end up doing that, but was a place that I've always dreamt of visiting. So think about that. Any places you've always dreamt of? Are there places that you would never want to visit? I had a friend recently talking about a country in Europe, and how when she visited there, she hated it. Like she hated it, and there was no real reason for her to. Well, come to find out that there's some challenging and tough past life experiences in that place, and so maybe there's a place that you're like, oh my God, I would never go there. And honestly, maybe Australia is one of those. A lot of people are like, oh my God, the spiders, the snakes, like everything's giant and wants to kill you. But anyway, uh, are there periods of history which you felt more kinship, or which you enjoyed studying more? For me, ancient Egypt was one of those that I was always like, oh my God, give me more. I want to know more. I want to learn more. And I have yet to uncover my Egypt past life, but it's there. I'm fairly certain. I would be very surprised if it's not there, but clearly it's not the time yet for me to explore that. But think about that. Are there periods of history that resonate with you, that call to you, that you were excited to study, or that it was I was looking through picture albums the other day, and I had built this very intricate, elaborate clay sphinx statue that was like, I mean, pretty cool. And that's from an adult perspective saying, yeah, I did a good job. It's really sad because the photo we have of it was broken because it ended up breaking in class, and probably someone broke it. But anyway, think about that. Periods of history, any ones that you enjoyed studying? What about, are there any particular people that you either feel drawn to or feel repelled by? Maybe there's racially, or racial groups, or religious groups, or social groups. It could be that, I don't know, maybe rich people just really rub you the wrong way, or you have these unexplained prejudices that, uh and I don't mean that in like a judgmental way, but just in a self-reflection way of like, maybe there's people that you just don't jive with. There have definitely been, I would say, more like individuals throughout my life that I meet them and I'm just like, oh God, no, I can't. I don't want to be a part of you or your situation or your energy. Like people just repel you. And on an individual level, that can often signal some of those uh, soul connections that are more challenging, or past life experiences that were real bad and or difficult and or traumatic, that then stick with you at a soul level, and then you have those reactions that don't necessarily make conscious logical sense. um Chronic ills or illnesses since birth, this is something that I talk about a lot, but are there any things that have been with you your entire life? For instance, maybe you have had like a wheat allergy your entire lifetime. Um, that very well could have a tie to your past lives. So there's a lot more questions here. I was trying to keep this show short, and then here I am at 45 minutes. And classic me. I love to chat. I love to talk. Even when I don't have an audience to engage with, I'm just here talking, talking, talking. But hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you got something good out of today. But definitely, if you're interested in this book, or more of these questions, let me know down in the comments. I can always snap a picture and share that. Um, give you guys access to those questions, or to the book, because it's a fun one. Uh, I think that with past life work, curiosity is going to be your best friend. Just be curious about it, be inquisitive, be open, and see what comes up for you guys. So, all in all, I've talked too much, so I won't say too much more. But I do want to pull up. Well, check out my website for more, of course, linked down below in the description box. Remember, 10 days off, or 10 more days for 10% off. Only 10 more days. This 10% off for October sale ends at the end of October. So if you are looking to take advantage of that 10% off my services, the higher guidance hypnosis, quantum healing hypnosis technique, or past life regression, as well as the workshop coming up on the 25th, grab your tickets now. That deal ends at the end of October. Speaking of the workshop, make sure you guys come join us on the 25th. That's this coming Saturday, 10 a.m. Central. This is 11 a.m. Eastern, and it's going to be a great, great time. A lot of fun getting together with the group and exploring our past lives. You can come and you can be silent. You can leave your camera off, or you can engage as much as you like. But the energy's fun. It's a joy to be with people exploring these sorts of things. And yeah, I encourage you guys to come to that workshop. Other than that, join me later this week for a full session recording coming up. It should be tomorrow, as long as everything goes as planned. It's been a little bit of a chaotic month for me, but rolling with it. I've got Past Life Show on Thursday as well, sharing a little bit more session stories and experiences that clients had in real sessions, and how past lives show up and how they work, and just keeping diving deep. We got the workshop coming up on Saturday. So all in all, it's going to be a fun week, and I hope to see as many of you as possible at the workshop. Remember, there is a record as well for that. So if you aren't able to make it live on Saturday, no worries. I'll send you that recording, and you can still get the benefits of it on the re-record. All right, I'm going to pull this down and leave you once more with the graphic there. And remember, get your tickets now, 10% off coming up this Saturday. It's going to be a good time. All right, sending you guys love, and let me know what Halloween's costumes you guys are doing, because maybe if you don't have an idea, you can be a leaf blower like I was. Honestly, it's such a dumb costume, but it makes me chuckle, and I feel like it's like it's a dad joke of costumes, right? It's like a dad costume. It's like very punny and silly and stupid, and yet it makes me laugh. All right, guys, sending you love. Talk to you soon.